The Skyblivion team is working hard as they add final touches to prepare the build for the project's release this year. In this video, we discuss a PC Gamer article, we feature some community chatter and Q&A. Finally, we end with Galleries and Dreamtime. So stick around till the end. Oblivion's dungeons suck. Skyblivion is making them better. That's where the power of a proper remake comes from. That's the headline from an article on PC Gamer website. Yes, the Skyblivion project got some attention on the popular gaming website PC Gamer, where they spoke to the lead dev RebelzizeXtra, who said backporting Skyrim's dungeon philosophy to Citadel was always a key goal of the mod project. The article says Bethesda didn't really crack its dungeon formula until Skyrim, where you could at least be relatively sure you had some kind of prize awaiting you at the end of a long session of hacking and slashing. An enchanted weapon, a new word for a shout, that kind of a thing. Oblivion's dungeon kind of suck. They are labyrinthine, they exist as one of 3 types, and when you get to the end of them, your grand prize often turns out to be like 5 gold and a journeyman retort. And then you have to retrace your steps to get back out. He continues and gives a few examples of how Skyrim made dungeon delving more interesting. I agree, I prefer Skyrim dungeons any day for the visual beauty, verticality, clutter variety and visual storytelling. No backtracking and better rewards are a bonus in my opinion. I appreciate how RebelzizeXtra has doubled down on making dungeon delving a fun experience. Dungeons have to give you that excitement of the unknown and also make you feel a little uneasy. My only hope is that the Skyblivion team takes the best from both worlds. While Skyrim's dungeons were visually spectacular and had amazing clutter, they were mostly linear and the variety was lacking. I hope we also find some dungeons in Skyblivion with alternate paths and more underwater sections. I totally agree with RebelzizeXtra. What blows my mind about Skyblivion's dungeons is that every region will have its own style of dungeons and alien ruins. For example, in the Heartlands region, you find alien ruins that resemble those that were found in Oblivion. In the region around Blackwood, we find ruins that are overgrown by forests. In the Gold Coast region, you find sand and dust chipping away at alien ruins. And in the cold regions, you find snow and ice within them. On top of that, the lighting, the atmosphere and the clutter will make every dungeon worth visiting. Just like Skyrim, we will get to enjoy awesome ambient effects that will add to the dungeon delving experience. The PC Gamer article says the Skyblivion team is deliberately, consciously pushing things into remake territory, and they're not scared to slaughter some of the OG sacred cows if they think it'll make for a better game. For example, Oblivion is one of those games that looks really good from a distance because it has those really lush forests, but once you're in a forest, there's nothing between City A and City B. Oh, 100%. I recently played Beyond Skyrim Bruma for the very first time in 2025, and recently I've also explored a lot of Bruma County when playing Oblivion Remaster. The difference is night and day. In Beyond Skyrim Bruma, as we explore and walk the county, we experience environment storytelling, scripted random encounters, scenes and fights between NPCs and creatures. The world of Citadel felt so alive in the Skyrim engine compared to the boring experience of the remastered. People tend to have nostalgia-tinted glasses when it comes to Oblivion, but that game, including the remaster, will offer you a dated experience. Skyblivion, like Beyond Skyrim, will make exploring Citadel so much fun. In the article, finally, RebelzizeXtra says, where the power of a proper remake comes from, and where I hope we will have some relevance and staying power within the internet culture and the Elder Scrolls fandom. That was an awesome article, and I appreciate RebelzizeXtra and the team for working so hard on Skyblivion. I'm sure all of you can't wait to explore Citadel again. The link to the article is in the description if you wish to read. Alright, community Q&A time. I'll show the questions on the screen and also we'll paste the developer and community replies. You guys can pause and read if you want while I add some commentary, okay? So let's get started. So Legitimate Pop 1068, he asks, what would be the best already existing Skyrim mods to download for Skyblivion when it releases for the ultimate experience? Here are the responses from a developer and some community members. I think this is an interesting discussion. Will you guys play Skyblivion with mods or will you play the vanilla experience to begin with? I personally will play vanilla Skyblivion first, but will keep observing the modding community and add some mods too. But one thing is for sure, the Skyblivion modding scene will explode once it launches and will add so much to the base experience. Alright, Right Honey 1143 says, whenever I think of fan remakes, the first thing that comes to mind is Black Mesa. In 2020, Black Mesa came out of early access with a magnificent trailer that still gives me goosebumps. Will you do something like that? Will there be another trailer or just the last status update before the release? So here's the developer response. I think the focus will be on actually finishing the game and then the trailer. Maybe after the release, the developers, if they have some time, they can make a trailer. But I think that's not important. Okay, next, a Discord member asks, hey, new member here. I didn't see anyone asking this, but I have Skyrim SC and Oblivion Game of the Year. Is it possible to play Skyblivion? So developer response, so essentially you need to have Game of the Year Deluxe because that comes with all the DLCs, right? This is important. So if you have the Deluxe, you're set. Right, next question is also from Discord and they ask which skeletons are you using for which creatures? So a developer response, looks like we'll have a Spider Daedra, then the Wraith will use the Dragon Priest animation, right? And the Dreg is a mud crab. So Minotaurs are giants. That makes sense. Another user in Discord asked an interesting skills related question. Oblivion and Skyrim have different skill sets. I've noticed that the skills listed in your promotional video show you using the Skyrim skill set. So I'd like to go over the differences from the Oblivion side and my suppositions about how they'll be implemented. Very interesting questions and suggestions by this user. We all know that Skyblivion won't have the following skills: Mercantile, Mysticism, Hand-to-Hand, Acrobatics, Athletics, Armorer from Oblivion. Looking at the developer response, I'm surprised to see Mysticism magic effects rolled into Enchanting. How would that work? So the usage of Oblivion's Mysticism effects like Detect Life, Dispel and Spell Absorption, would that lead to increase in the enchanting skill of the character? That sounds weird, right? I also wonder if we will get the Reflect spell and the Reflect physical damage magic effects in Skyblivion. That remains to be seen. Okay, so hand-to-hand perks are under Strength and Athletics and Acrobatic perks are under the Speed tree. That's cool. If you did not know, the Skyblivion perk system is attribute-based and not skill-based as it was in Skyrim. Skills do not have perks you can choose. They only have the Mastery perks you automatically unlock every 25 skill levels. Attribute perks are independent of skills. The dev says here, milestone perks for skill, but not attributes at every 25 levels. Yeah, these are the Mastery perks I was talking about, right? Awesome suggestions by the user, and thanks to the devs for responding. I can't wait to explore the perks of Skyblivion. Alright, we start with the team showcasing some of the atmospheric sounds you can encounter throughout Cyrodiil, from the rolling hills of the Heartlands to the boggy swamps of Blackwood and everywhere in between. So let's listen. Wow, that was incredible by the audio and sound engineering team. Absolutely atmospheric and immersive. Skyblivion team released some 360-degree screenshots that immerse you in some of Skyblivion's most exciting locations. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alright guys, so with that we have come to the end of this month's Skyblivion update. As we get nearer and nearer to the release, I'm considering doing a week-long Skyblivion celebration to honor the immense work by all the developers. Let me know what you think and do share your ideas. If you're still here, I appreciate you and may the divines watch over you.